Welcome.
Welcome. My name is Brandon Heidi, and I'm a graduate student in architecture and president of APDesign. At this time, would everyone please rise as you are able for the Air Force ROTC Honor Guard, who will present the colors, and Richard Prudenti, fifth-year graduate student in landscape architecture, who will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Would Reverend Christian Watkins of the Ecumenical Campus Ministry please come forward to deliver the invocation?
Greetings from Ecumenical Campus Ministry. We give thanks for this time together to share in celebration. Will you please join me in a spirit of contemplation and gratitude? Greatest architect, we are reminded that your limits are not bound by our limitations. You build without need for direction or structure. It is a boundless building, one that creates life and flourishing. Truly, you build outside of our capabilities, and we give thanks for this great mystery. May this space, Regnier Hall, reflect your penchant for creation without limitation. Creation which is not limited by physical classroom spaces or even concretized structures, but truly the cultivation of lives. When we experience this place, remind us that you have called each of us to construct a life of meaning and purpose, not steeped in our own self-interest or self-preservation, but a life which serves every single person, with no mind for the divisions or discriminations that we have created as humans. Bless those who have built this place. May we celebrate today the work that has come to fruition. Bless those who have tended and will tend the physical space with their hands, feet, and energies. May they strive to uphold the structural and aesthetic integrity of this building and classrooms, places where the Kansas State community can grow because the grounds are kept with care and intention. Bless the faculty and instructors of this space. May they strive to enrich minds focused on building inside and outside of conventional wisdoms by learning to think in old and in new ways. Bless the students who grace these halls. May they strive to know their best selves as pieces of the greater whole, wiser for their being here, more generous for their learning, and inspired to change and be a part of a space in their families, communities, and beyond. Bless the moments when we fail to meet these expectations. May we find the grace to ask for forgiveness and the grace to forgive others and ourselves. We give thanks for an opportunity to reflect and to celebrate with our hearts and our minds, being encouraged by those who are here, by those who have been a part of this vision, and by those who are to come. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. It is my honor to introduce the 14th president of Kansas State University. President Myers is a native Kansan from Merriam, loyally serving his country, and retired as a four-star general from 2001 to 2005. He served as 15th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and was the principal military advisor to the U.S. President, Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Council. President Myers, will you please come to the stage?
Well, it is really a great day, isn't it? In lots of ways, this is a great space. We thank everybody in the audience that was a part of this, big, small, whatever part you played. And we thank you for joining us here today. It's been an outstanding year for the college here. They got to move into a new facility. And by the way, this new facility destroyed the mechanical engineering labs that I used to toil in. But they had sort of a turn of the century industrial revolution look about them. And it was time for them to go away. And we have much better use of this space now. But I particularly missed the foundry. We had a foundry. We used to pour things and make things. I guess we can do that someplace else. National rankings for this college. I think most people are aware that this is a renowned college of architecture, planning, and design. The national rankings for the college, graduate program in landscape architecture ranked 5th overall in the country. 2nd among public universities. Our graduate, Graduate program in interior architecture, and on your tour, take a look at the facilities we have for interior architecture, ranked 6th nationally, ranked 1st among programs at public institutions. 1st. And our graduate program in architecture, 18th in the nation, 8th among public institutions. There's a lot to be proud of and a lot of people that made that happen. The way I look at things, national rankings are nice and they're hard to come by, and it represents great work. But more than anything, in terms of this facility, it's about people. And we heard that in the I'll call it the opening prayer. What do you call it there, Reverend? Invocation. Okay, so invocation to the great architect, and but it's about the people that are going to work here. And this is not only a better facility just from the nuts and bolts of it, but it's such an inspiring facility. And you need to be inspired when you're working hard intellectually and so forth. And the previous facility, I would say, was on its last legs. It was not very inspiring, yet we got inspiring work out of it. We got those kind of rankings. Just think what's going to happen with this new facility. Even more important than that, think about the educated talent that's going to go forth out of this college and support not only the state of Kansas, not only our region, but our nation, the world. The kind of work they do here allow humans to flourish and it's really important work. And this new facility is just going to enable that to be even greater in the future. I'd like to pay tribute. I think some of the people that were actively involved in this will get their tribute today. My guess is there are many people that contributed that aren't either with us anymore or not here today, because this has been a long, long process. So I would like to offer my tribute to all those who have toiled on this project, who have persevered to make this happen. And again, I think many of them are probably not with us today, and my thanks go to them. So thanks. So thank all of you. Thank all of you for being here. Thanks what you've done to make this a reality, and congratulations.
Would Dr. Blake Flanders, President and CEO of the Kansas Board of Regents, please come forward? Dr. Flanders is a graduate of Kansas State University, where he earned a bachelor's and master's in animal science and a doctorate in philosophy in curriculum and instruction.
It's great to be here. What a beautiful day. I might have to fire my barber, though, because my haircut need to leave a little more on the top when it's this sunny. But I am just honored to be part of this building dedication. And I think this facility, which I just can't believe, when I was a student here, Seton Hall wasn't the celebrated building on campus, and now, wow. It really reflects, I think, what we can do together. And these quality learning spaces, and that's what this facility is a learning space. They matter not only for students and not for this university, but I believe the future prosperity of our state. I noticed on the event invitation, Dean Tim DeNoble wrote, "Finally, a beautiful facility commensurate with the national reputation built by our students, faculty, staff, and alumni, and now we capitalize on it." I couldn't agree more. And in spite of the past facilities, as President Myers said, these program faculty and graduates have built a national reputation for quality. And now imagine how this facility could change the future trajectory of the program. But for a moment, I do want to return to why I believe the investment, not only by the generous donors, but by the state of Kansas, is important. First, facilities, they do help attract and retain high-quality faculty. And I really believe students, they're the lifeblood of the university, but if students are the lifeblood, faculty are the heart. Their face-to-face student-faculty interaction, including instruction and advising, is really the essence of the university experience. And higher quality instructional space really does translate to better learning outcomes. Second, this building will help attract students, and candidly, Kansas needs more college graduates. We know from the center in Georgetown that 71% of our jobs in the year 2020, 71% will require some post-secondary education. And if Kansas is going to prosper, we need more graduates. Finally, investment from our Kansas legislature encourages further investment. I noted that in the 7 years since the possibility, perhaps even likelihood, of a legislative commitment, $32.5 million in additional funds have been raised for the College of Architecture, Planning, and Design, and that is $25.5 million more than in the previous 7 years. And 80% of those funds came from generous donors who live outside the state of Kansas. $21.5 million of that private investment will be used to support the magic that occurs within this incredible facility including faculty support, programming, and support for students. To me, that just shows clear evidence that commitment from the Kansas legislature is contagious and helps generate more giving and more investment. So on behalf of the Kansas Board of Regents, I want to say thank you to President Myers, to Dean Tim DeNoble, to Greg Willems at the Foundation, and our Kansas legislature for their leadership in bringing this project to fruition. It's an exciting day for all of us here and for the people of Kansas. Thank you.
It is an honor to be here today and to represent the amazing and talented students of the College of Architecture, Planning, and Design. I've had the pleasure of serving on the Dean Student Advisory Council for the past 3 years, as we have transitioned from groundbreaking ceremony to the dedication today. And what a joy it has been. 2 years ago, as the fences went up and we embarked upon the beginning of construction, there were a few uncertainties. Some of those being how to get to our temporary building off campus. Where will all the shop equipment go? But today, I can assure you that these are no longer the uncertainties that we face. There is no question as to who we are and where we are. We have a building that speaks for itself and the passion of the students within. I can still see the excitement on the faces of my fellow classmates each time we toured the building. Now that we've moved in, which, let's be honest, for some that's more literal than figurative, I've seen 3 ways in which this transformation has and will continue to impact the skills we gain and the work that we do. These include, but are not limited to, expanding possibilities, connecting across disciplines, and fostering community. With the 20,000 square feet of new fabrication space, I know that we are all better equipped to turn our designs and ideas into realities. While in our transition space at APD West, a group of my peers were able to design and construct a tiny house. It's not hard to imagine what we will be able to accomplish with more space and more connection across discipline. With that being said, our new design labs give us great potential as well. Unlike ever before, we are now able to observe and learn from those around us in different year levels and disciplines. This provides us with great opportunities to collaborate. In my first year of the program, I connected with a few older students who encouraged me and offered advice. At that point in time, I would travel from the basement to the second floor for each question. With our new spaces, I can now turn around, and behind me is a group of second years. These things combined are the key ingredients to fostering the community that we have in our college. We now have a large number of spaces where organizations can put on events, groups can meet to talk or work on a project, and spontaneous conversations are encouraged. For the past 2 years, the Dean Student Advisory Council has worked to plan a celebratory event at the end of each academic year. This year, we look forward to continuing the same tradition in our new space. This brings me to you here, all of you here today. We have many of you in the room to thank for where we are now. I hope I've given some insight as to the impact that you have made on myself and the students in this college. On behalf of myself and all the students, I would like to thank you. I look forward to seeing the possibilities ahead and connections that are made and the community we foster here in Seton and Regnier Hall. Thank you. Would Marvin Manlove please come to the podium?
Okay, don't worry. It's big print, double-spaced. But a few of us have been working on this thing for over a decade, and you're going to hear every damn word of it. In the fall of 1962, Mom and Dad dropped me off here, grown up in Wichita, wanted to be an architect since I was 14 years old, got my Boy Scout merit badge. Here I was. Where else do you go if you want to get a degree in architecture? Well, even then, my dad, walking through the facilities, said, "Are you sure you don't need a hard hat?" By the mid-'60s, Jack Durgan had started the interior architecture program, of which I participated in. And through squatters' rights and a few midnight acquisitions, we had a shop over here in the bottom of Mechanics Hall. This became my home for years. And I want you to note as you walk through the shops today, if you see any piece of equipment that's old and green, it may still be on unknown permanent loan from somewhere. But Dad was right. Later on, Seton Court, which is right here, and some of you heard this at lunch, had really suffered from neglect. We had an residential interior drainage system to funnel off the leaks in the building. But that was just a clever thing. The more concerning thing was the entire power distribution was little extension cords. We were an accident really waiting to happen. Well, by 2000, this continued neglect was very serious, and the NAAB, which is the National Architectural Accreditation Board, every 5 years you've got to get reaccredited. They came through and they said physical conditions are a problem. Well, 5 years later, nothing had been done. So they noted again that this was a serious neglect. Only at that time, Homer Williams. Is Homer here somewhere? Okay, some of you probably know Homer. Homer was on this accreditation board at the time, and I think he raised a red flag with our Dean's Advisory Council that we really needed to do something because the consequences were that one of America's best schools of architecture was in jeopardy through this neglect. Well, under the leadership of Dean Dennis Law. Dennis, are you here somewhere? You've got to be. Stand up. The Dean's Advisory Council that was associated with him at that particular time really took this head on. And a few of them, and I won't go into who you are because I don't know who all of you were, added up some money, and we started a study and a conceptual program for what our real facilities were going to be. So thanks to that Dean's Advisory Council, who out of their own pockets or out of their firm's pockets, most likely their firms, added up some money to kind of get the ball rolling. But this initial group turned into what we call the Founders Guild, which contributed ongoing financial support to sustain the project. Eventually, that Founders Guild will be recognized somewhere in this building, upstairs, the names of those firms, because that initial commitment of financial support to get us going was really critical. But a few detours. Our need was clear and even a little desperate. But a campus our size has competing interests and limited resources. Always has been the case. So you got to figure out how to get in line. Finding that audience was challenging on campus. We're a small college. We don't have a bunch of big bucks lined up somewhere. But slowly we found partners, and our strategy went from an emotional, we need and deserve this, to a strategy where excellence should have a facility which embraces and enhances that position. Somewhere along the way, I often use the phrase that if we don't develop a compelling argument, a compelling story, all we're going to get out of facilities is another coat of paint. And that wasn't good enough. But like many things we encounter in life, a fresh perspective is important. Well, about that time, Tim DeNoble came on board as the dean, 2009, fall of 2009. And he worked with us to take some very impressive metrics and help tell that story, create that compelling argument. And it's the one we used with the administration and the legislature from then on. We are, if not the top performing academic college on campus, we are always near the top, which probably means most of us didn't have the GPA to get in or get out. 90% of our students complete their degree at K-State, and 75% of them complete a degree within our college. That's tops of all colleges. We have a very high retention on campus. You've heard from President Myers about the rankings of our architecture interiors program, our landscape all of these things have been nationally recognized for years. We knew it. We just weren't blowing our horn enough. So we started blowing our horn. Luckily, the rankings have stayed up there. So, you know, we keep on working that. But dear to my heart was that interior in this one of these surveys, IAPD, which is kind of the, even though I have a degree in architecture, my heart was in interiors while I was here, was the third most admired program in the country. And as I told Nathan Howe last night, that means we can never be fourth, young man. The bar is set. I'm also proud of our diversity. You know, 30% of our students are multicultural. Interesting twist on a number, only 48% are men. When I was in college, we had one woman in our class, and I think that diversity reflects the market we serve, reflects the true demographics of our country and our state, and it's important to embrace and measure and move forward with those things. But all of these things simply say that we have a college that was built on excellence, leadership, passion, inclusion, and results. And that is our legacy. But another thing caught my attention as we started this. It was a smaller college. We've never stood tall in the fundraising category. But as we initiated this program over the last few years, our college on a per capita basis, meaning the average contribution from our alumni base, moved to either the top of on the university or near the top. So you each deserve some recognition. You're welcome to give yourself an applause, whether it was $25 or $25,000. Thank you very much. It's pretty clear to us that this argument of excellence, and that clearly we were leaders on campus, nationally. Our reputation and impact on K-State was something that we needed to move forward. And early on a project like this, you need to find partners. We want to thank the foundation, but especially Damon Fairchild and Natalie Gordon. Stand up. Even though Jim Calcara and I were co-chairs of the multi-million-dollar fundraising campaign, the Innovations and Inspiration campaign that we're going through, they did all the work, we get all the credit. So it's a great formula. Anyway, but more importantly, I want you to note as you walk through tours, you'll see a lot of rooms in here that have names on them. That means somebody gave money. Well, as you walk through, if you see a room that you want to put your name on, they will take cash, check, or credit card today. And I'm more serious than you think. Because even though we're well on our way and we're at this point, we aren't through yet with our fundraising. So please help us identify ways that you or your peers or people that you know can step up and help us, because this is just the start of something really good, and we need to make it even better. And of course, to our contributors, sitting here on the front row are Bob and Vic Regnier, and the Regnier Family Foundation gave us an initial gift. And Jonathan Kemper is here, and the William T. Kemper Foundation gave us an initial gift. It's no coincidence that this is the William T. Kemper courtyard, and this building is Regnier Hall. Those initial gifts, and if you're fundraising, initial gifts are critical to show credibility in your project and create support from other people as you move forward with the asking. These gifts were really important. Through the years, many of you have stepped up and given additional gifts, and we're thankful to those. But I really want to say thank you to those anonymous few who really gave some big numbers. We'll never know who they are, but they're key to our cornerstone. So, if you don't want your wife or your spouse to know that you gave, Damon can figure it, and Natalie can figure it out, okay? Our faculty is special. They've been engaged. They've really been an important part of our steps along the way. But I also want to note that the administration, and you don't get any of these things done without a direct line through Anderson Hall. Well, Anderson Hall brings a lot of people to the table, but one in particular that we need to recognize is Sue Peterson. Is Sue here somewhere? Wherever. Sue is our conduit with the legislators in Topeka, and it's a job that requires tremendous patience and a lot of persistence and a good story to tell. And she did a yeoman's job of making sure that our story was heard and that we ultimately got that cornerstone financing from the state legislature. It's critical. But at the state of Kansas, one other person was really helped us a lot in terms of moving our project forward, and that was Mark Hutton. I know Mark was here at lunch, but is Mark here anywhere? His name is Mark Hutton. Mark Hutton. But the most important people I want to thank are the students. You know, many of you don't realize that the first people at the station were the students voting to raise their own fees in support of this project. They voted early to do that. They participated in charrettes, studied our needs in their studios, and you've heard moved off campus for 2 years to make way for this project. It's those students who inherit this legacy of excellence, leadership, and giving back to K-State. I know they accept the challenge, and we expect them to raise the standards even further. Thanks again. Tim DeNoble follows me. I hope I left him something to say. I've never known him not to have anything to say. Never mind. We're good.
I'm speechless. First thing I'm going to do is talk to my design team about the heating and air in this. No, seriously, when you pick a date, you hope will be a beautiful day, and we got that, and we're having some nice temperature fluctuations, and I just am amazed at the crowd. Fantastic. Really, really. I feel like, what's her name at the Academy Awards? They like me. They really like me, you know. It's just really wonderful to see everybody out there and really care about this wonderful, wonderful college. What a day. President Myers, thank you. Dr. Flanders, fantastic words. Partnership does work. Brandon, Heidi, you see what amazing students we have there. Not only do they make great MCs, but they sing really well too. I mean, fantastic. We really, really appreciate Richard's efforts there. Reverend Watkins, your words perfectly framed what we have going on here today, and we appreciate that and the seriousness with which we take our role. So we're here to celebrate that great achievement for the students, the faculty, staff, alumni, and friends. We're here to celebrate our story, and I think as Marvin has said so beautifully, Marvin, you're right, you did a fantastic job. I don't have a lot left to add, but I'm going to keep going. But we're laying the cornerstone for the future. Our reputation, every year recognized as noted in surveys of the design professionals, a simple question: who best prepares the graduates to make an immediate and lasting impact in their respective professions? We do. Every year we jostle elbows with those hallowed institutions that primarily line our coasts. Our professions tend to be coastal centric, but here at APDesign, We are epicentric. We now have a building, a facility, an environment that is much more than a collection of good spaces. Ours is an armature, a crucible of design education, the nexus of design and construction industry for the center of the country and beyond, all the way to those coasts and beyond there. We have a facility, finally, that reflects our values: environmental stewardship, social equity, economic vibrancy, and aesthetic delight. We have a presence. We have a front door we can call our own. I love engineers. I love engineers. I even have a few friends that are engineers. Just kidding there. But I don't necessarily want to walk under the sign that says engineering every day. We've got our own place. If you spend time in the exhibit in our new Barber and Casey Cassius Gallery, and also in the Chang Gallery in Seton Central, you'll see that and gain an understanding of the nomadic existence that we've had on this campus for over 100 years, and off campus, frankly, as our students can well attest. We have a sequence of public spaces configured to lift the veil off the disciplines housed in this college. Our work, our process, and our rituals are now there for all to see. We have a model insertion of a 21st century facility, beautifully integrated into a historic context, tradition and modernity in harmony together. We have a facility that capitalizes on the inherent strengths of our college. Our college is unique. It is an interdisciplinary academic construct housing the full spectrum of design and planning under one roof. Our unique teaching model, the studio, is intensive in time, in faculty to student interaction, and in peer-to-peer reiterative learning. It also requires unique spaces. Our new design labs, as Brandon mentioned, are configured to host multiple studios from all disciplines and year levels, fully integrating our students and faculty to promote cross-disciplinary learning and research and help us extend and raise the bar of design education. We design and we plan, but as well noted, we also build, fabricate, and make. We test our designs, and now we have a comprehensive state-of-the-art fabrication facility to do so, safely, spectacularly. We reach out, we collaborate, we research, we plan, we design, we test, we build and make, we analyze, and we start all over again. To support all this, we now have ample design laboratories, shops, critique rooms, collaboration areas, a new library, a new gallery, auditorium spaces, atrium spaces, the public armature and sequence of spaces beautifully intertwined with the meat of working, studying, and production spaces. You'll learn, and you can't help but learn as you progress through this facility. I'm not a PhD. I'm just an architect. But I'm a designer, and I'm an educator. For me, every designed environment is a dissertation. The dissertation before you is a model of the 21st century land-grant design, teaching, research, and service facility. Our charge is to prove the investment in our facilities by the state of Kansas and by our friends, and their generosity is well-founded. Our charge is to take full advantage of this resource, to build on the reputation built over 100 years by superb faculty dedicated to design education at K-State. In so doing, bring our knowledge and skills to bear in employing design and planning to address the evolving needs and aspirations of our planet, our culture, our society, and all of humanity. That's not asking much, not with this facility. So I hope that all of us here, those who support the program, those that are in the program, and those that teach and research within the program, we'll continue to do our part to set a very, very high bar for a great, great college that I've just been fortunate to lead and been, frankly, having to follow Dennis Law is not easy. So it's been a real treat. Now, I do want to say one thing. This is not a commercial advertisement. Regnier Hall, though, runs right here behind me and includes what was once called Mechanics Hall. Seton Hall is that beautiful old, and this building over here, if you don't know, dates from 1875 and 1880. 1909, the first part of Seton Hall's back there. This building is not yet named. Was that obvious enough for Damon? So at this time, as a way, frankly, I'd love to call out and thank everybody here. I hope that you took time to look at the insert. We hope we included everybody, but we know we couldn't. That had such a vital part of what's going on. But it's time for us to work towards a ribbon cutting. And so in order to do that, we're going to call some folks up. And as you come up, you can clap or you can wait to clap, but we're going to process in here, and then the ribbon cutters are going to go to the Rick and Renee Martin Terrace up above us to exercise their clippers, all right? And so as I call your name, please proceed to the door on the left. And then once I exit as well, I hope that if you want a better view of what's going on up there, you might want to move back. And in case somebody drops scissors or something. You know? So first of all, President Myers and First Lady Mary Jo Myers, please process. Not only President, First Lady, but also the co-chairs of the KSU Foundation Innovation and Inspiration Campaign, undergirding the philanthropy that made Regnier Hall possible. So fortunate that he's converted, they both have converted their lifelong love of K-State to becoming our leaders. April Mason, Provost and Senior Vice President, Kansas State University. It's been my pleasure to work with April almost my entire time here. It's been fantastic. The Chief Academic Officer and leader of K-State. I've been blessed for that period. She's a great leader and very much focused on our excellence and continuing our excellence. Thank you, Dr. Mason. Dr. Blake Flanders. Thanks for your words. They're fantastic. Most of all, thank you for your role in advancing, promoting, and sustaining the quality of higher education in Kansas. We're proud of you as a K-State alum and all that you do to work with the legislature and the regents. Thank you. We thank you very much. Mark Hutton, you can't get out of this. CEO, owner, Hutton Construction, former member of the Kansas House of Representatives, our legislative lion. I assure you, without his stalwart support and advocacy, state support for this project could never have happened. You know, here's where I'm going to get him. He brought his skills of negotiation, and he once accused me of this, and his persistent enthusiasm to bear in the legislature. Quite an accomplishment given that funding came in 2015 until this year, the longest session in the history of the legislature. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sue Peterson. Where are you, Sue? Don't tell me she's hiding out. There she is. I tell you, former President Kirk Schultz charged Sue with helping us seek state funding, and she took it on not only professionally but personally. She's not only effective, but she's a joy to work with. I'm not sure I ever had as much fun working with anybody as I did with Sue. She's amazing. And there were times when Sue was my governor. That is, she said, "Time to go, Dean DeNoble," because I was about to say something I shouldn't say. So, thank you. Greg Willems, representing the foundation, plays a vital role in getting us here and a vital role in keeping us there. So, Greg, it's really great to have you represent us philanthropically and for all you do. I'm going to call up simultaneously Victor Regnier. He's a professor at the University of Southern California. but his heart's here. And Bob Regnier, President and CEO, Bank of Blue Valley, both with the V&H Charitable Foundation. Regnier Hall, the Victor L. Regnier Hall, the Victor L. Regnier Chair in Architecture, the Victor L. Regnier Distinguished Visiting Professor, Victor L. Regnier Distinguished International Lecturer, a number of scholarships. Enough said? I mean, seriously, when the sands have run through the glass, the Regnier name will be synonymous with the quality and reputation of this college. The lead gift that they provided for this building has catalyzed the growth in philanthropy towards our building and our success. We thank you very much. And their sister, Kathy Regnier, not in attendance, gets the same accolades. Jonathan Kemper, Chairman, CEO, Commerce Bank. I'll keep it short so you don't have to stand but here we are in the courtyard. I mean, fantastic. While he is a banker, I think his real love is design and building. I've spent many hours talking to him about it. He is also very much involved not only in this space, but as you go around throughout the Midwest, you'll find that many, many wonderful spaces named by the William T. Kemper Foundation, largely focused on the arts and humanities. It's fantastic. And I have to say that also I work with Jonathan Kemper on the board of the Kansas City Design Center, and it's a real treat to get to experience his, frankly, your wisdom every time we meet. Thank you so much for all you do. Now, you've heard from one co-chair of our AP Design Innovation Inspiration Campaign, Marvin Manlove, but I also want to call up Jim Calcara. They're the co-chairs, and so Jim Calcara is also, as I said, these two were also partners in crime in practice. I just say this is a great opportunity to say one of the greatest pleasures of deanship of this college are the friendships forged in common purpose, advancing this college. Jim and Marvin were among the first two alumni I met after Rick Martin being the first. I immediately understood their dedication to our future, proven by, as you've heard, the long-established roles of Dean's Advisory Council and Founders Guild members. As co-chairs of our campaign, their advocacy has continued unabated. Personally, I know the friendships that Ann and I have formed with Jim and Maggie, Marvin and Mary, and so many of you here will last well beyond our effective ability to advocate. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Damon Fairchild, Senior Director of Development, and Natalie Gordon, AP Design Development Officer. You heard from Dr. Flanders. Every great river journey needs some great pilots, and these are our pilots. I spend as much time with them as anybody on the road and talking with them about really setting the foundation for the future of this place financially. You heard the numbers. They don't lie. They are fantastic at what they do, and we're very blessed that they're committed to this place. Natalie is also a graduate, but I'm telling you what, between them, they spend as much time thinking about design as I do. I really appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much. I'd like to call John Keller, who's a FAICP, a PhD, and our full professor in the Department of Landscape Architecture, Regional and Community Planning, to represent our faculty today. It's a distinct pleasure to ask John to step up here because he will be retiring this spring in 2018, which really saddens us. But it's worth us noting this special achievement of over 45 years of teaching, research, and practice in rural planning and development at K-State. Thank you, John. We greatly appreciate it. We'll expect to see you around a fair amount. But I was doing a little math. If I'm here for 45 years, it's not going to work. That's not going to work. So we appreciate it. Brandon and Heidi, we've heard from Brandon. Brandon's an amazing young man. Again, he represents what I see qualities every day in our students. He has really taken on his role as president of the Dean Student Advisory Council to grow it as an advocacy wing for the students, but also as a network for all the organizations in our college. He's done a great job, and Brandon, I'm glad to have you join the top. Thank you for your efforts. Only have about 60 more people, so no, I'm just kidding. So, Lisa Schubert, assistant to the dean. I could go on and on and on, but I'm just going to tell you, and I think that our design team, to be introduced, would agree that there's no way this project would have happened without Lisa Schubert. Not only going way back to our programming phase, but putting our materials together to take to the legislature, to our alumni, working with the foundation, and pretty much being an on-site person every day of the week. My greatest fear is that all those involved in this design and building project will try to steal Lisa. So I'm watching you. It's all right. So really fantastic, and as you know, really puts a lot better face on the dean's office than I do. Thank you very much, Lisa. I'd like to recognize Casey Cassius, who's the principal of BNIM, and John Collier with BNIM as well, to come up and work their way forward. One of the two primary architecture firms involved in our project. Let me just say that Casey has long been dedicated to this place, not only as an alumnus, but as a member of the Dean's Advisory Council, as president of that, their involvement as well in the Founders Guild. And I know that all of us love building buildings, but I don't know that there's ever been any group of people more excited to be part of the process and be selected to do this than Casey and his team when it all came down. And I think you can see that they, along with their associated partners on this project, did a fantastic job. And John poured his heart and soul into this, and really glad they're representing. There's a long list of people in your program, but representing all of them. Thank you very much. Tomas Rassant is principal at INEAD Architects, also on this project. And I want to call up Greg Smith, who's an alumnus of our program and was with INEAD throughout most of the project. And so I've asked the two of them to represent INEAD because we had quite a spectacular team. It's good to see you, Tomas. When you go back to the program, one of the greatest programs I think ever written and served in the state of Kansas, that's from the folks at the state building. They said it was really great. That programming phase came about because of their work with us, and I think that behind any great project is a great program. And ultimately, it's been wonderful to have these design partners and have them a part of it. And thanks so much for being here and joining the talk. Early on, we said we didn't want just a good building, we wanted a great environment, and that we needed to prove to the university that we had a building that could integrate with the campus in a way that many buildings, frankly, don't. And with that, we had Chris Klein representing Confluence, who is our landscape architecture partners on this project. And Chris ran a great team, and I think you can see that we have a space that transforms and other spaces that transform. A really wonderful combination of things throughout. Really appreciate it. And you'll see on our roofs and everything else, landscape architecture is everywhere, and the way you tie in the inside and the outside has been fantastic. Thank you so much for it. I'd like now to call Dave Young and Rick Hoover. Dave Young is Vice President J. Dunn Construction. and is project construction management, and Rick Hoover was the project superintendent. And this is the A-team. They joined the A-team of our designers for this project, and you know, I am going to miss them when they're not around, I think, but you know, I know eventually they have to leave, and eventually they probably should leave, but but you know, you've always got your home. But I was pretty darn excited when y'all got this project, and I know they were too, and this was the first time J.E. Dunn's been on this campus since Bramlage Arena, and so it was really great to have you a part of this, and thanks for doing a fantastic job and for your diligence, and again, a lot of other names on that list in there, so thank you very much. Two more people that I'll just call out real quickly. Emmy Chamberlain, a graduate of our program, and our project coordinator for the facilities here at Kansas State University. And I got to tell you, you know, the great thing about working with Emily is not only her diligence, but was to watch her growth and her commitment to this. And she's a crackerjack project coordinator now. Has just done a marvelous job. And again, as others I've called out, so much of this we owe to you. Thank you so much, Emmy. Thank you. Actually, I had three more people, but I just want, Rick and Renee Martin, would you guys get up and go host people on your terrace? I would like you to do that, okay? Thank you very much. So Rick is the reason I'm here. I'll tell you that. When I came to interview, he was the alumni representative on the committee, and I had dinner with Rick, and I said, that's where I want to work. With quality alumni like that, this is the place I want to be. And I've really enjoyed forging friendships with the Martins, as with so many here, and really, really great to have you here. So you better go host all these people up there. Thank you for being here. Forgetting any? Oh yeah, and DeNoble. Let me say, I said it earlier. You know, all decisions are made in partnership. And I told Ann, come on, let's move to Kansas. Moving from Arkansas, all we got to do is drop the R. You know, it's a piece of cake. And we have truly loved it. Any of you that live here in the community know that Ann is. It's as if she's lived here forever. She's an amazing part of the community, and she's sacrificed a lot for us to get this building done herself. And I'm just one very, very lucky person to be married to such a lovely lady. So, we're going to go up and do a little snipping. There are so many of you out there that we would love to have accommodated up there, but it only has a occupancy of 42, and we're reminded of that. And so if you want to get a better view, not have any scissors fall on you, back up. But after this, beginning inside, we have refreshments and tours going on. Our ambassadors will take you for tours, and I can't thank all of you enough for being here. It's really fantastic. Thank you. We ran over by a few minutes, and I apologize, but at least the shade hit some of you in that period of time. Thank you very much.
Push in a little bit.